How's it going, guys? Randall aka Shizukats here on the Tressa's Collectibles channel to bring you our deck profile for Saekano's second booster set, Saekano Flat. This set has been out for a few years already in the Japanese side of Weiss Schwarz, having already been a dominant force in the JP metagame around the time of its original release. Since then, it has been restricted due to how strong it was, but in the English version of Weiss Schwarz, we get to play this deck at its full potential. Let's see what this blast from the past can do in the modern 2023 metagame. As usual, let's begin with our Climax Combos. Many of the level 1 Climax Combo options between the two sets of Saekano require reversing battle opponents, making them relatively poor choices into the current metagame, where prominent decks such as Alice SAO are capable of making large level 1 boards that can deny use of these combos. So from our perspective, we had to make the choice between one of two level 1 combos. The Megumi Goldbar bounce back combo that was used in the popular variations in Japanese, or the Eriri shot combo, which has top check 4 add 1. Ultimately, we chose the Megumi combo despite bounce back type combos being somewhat on reverse in that she has to survive into the opponent's turn in order to actually get any value. Specifically, the Climax combo itself gives her twin drive and the ability to return to hand upon being front attacked until the end of the opponent's next turn. The main reason we chose this combo is to simplify colors. Compared to the Eriri combo, which is yellow, the other important level 1 cards we want to be playing in the deck are green and red, which would make juggling colors at level 1 a bit of a chore. Before we get into the level 3 combo, let's also address another very important piece of the level 1 game in this deck, Eriri. This card is a level 2 killer, gaining ridiculous amounts of offensive power when attacking into level 2s such as Alice, as long as you have a card in memory. Between the Megumi combo and the Eriri level 2 killer, we want to be able to recognize which is the appropriate choice for the current game, and prioritize those cards accordingly. In order to make more room for the Eriri level 1, which we run 4 of, we eliminated some of the utility pieces elsewhere in the deck, such as counters. Now onto the level 3 combo, the Megumi Door combo. When she's placed on stage from hand, you can heal 1, and she gets a bunch of continuous buffs based on the amount of cards we have in memory. If we have 2 or more, during our turn she gets plus 2000 power. If we have 3 or more, she also gains anti-backup during her battle. Finally, if we have 4 or more memory, she also cannot be targeted by the opponent's abilities. 4 memory is very easily accomplished in Saekano thanks to the myriad of memory utility options this deck can utilize, so you should be meeting this requirement every single game fairly easily. This combination of effects makes the level 3 game very easy to play, since you don't have to worry about a lot of popular defensive profiles such as anti-damage or rest counters. Additionally, the hexproof text prevents her soul from being reduced by cards such as Sora level 3 in Hololive, since the effect targets the opponent's character. The combo itself is a simple on-reverse pay 1 burn 2. Since Megumi's continuous text prevents the opponent from using backups during her battle, getting reverses for the burn should be fairly trivial, unless your opponent is specifically playing around your finisher by crashing all of their own lanes in advance. Megumi attacks for a minimum of 12k power when you account for the continuous 2000 and power from the Climax, which is a perfectly good attacking number, but just in case, there are other cards in the deck that can help boost her power further if needed. To go alongside our level 3 Megumi, we have a set of 3 other Megumis that are often referred to as the Change Chain, since each of the Megumis can change into the next one of a higher level. At the bottom, we have the level 0 Brainstorm Megumi. Apart from being a rest self-search brainstorm, she has an act ability that can be used from level 1 onwards to change herself into the level 1 red Megumi from your waiting room. This level 1 Megumi is also a brainstorm, having the same effect as the level 0, but she also has during your turn assist 500, giving a little bit of extra boost to scale over opposing threats. When you're at level 2 or higher, at the start of your Climax phase you can pay 1 and send her to memory to change into the level 2 Megumi. This Megumi is a level assist, and if you're at level 3, at the start of your Climax phase you can pay 1 and send her to memory to change into the level 3 combo. By using these change effects throughout the game, you can proactively pay Climaxes out of stock, advance your board, and build memory at the same time. Now onto the level 0 line. One of the best available turn 1 plays for the deck is the Izumi runner from set 1. As an early game play, she is a mill runner looking to mill a game trait character to move at the start of the opponent's attack phase. While her power is low at just 1000, if the opponent isn't able to field 3 attackers to contest her, she can attempt to run away and get you an early +1. Her other ability is extremely powerful as well. By paying 1 stock and sending her to memory, you can look it up to 4 cards from the top of the deck for a game character to add to hand, and then send the rest to the waiting room. This is fantastic for paying out stock, milling through the deck, and generating memory, all in one fell swoop. Up next we have this level 0 red Utaha, also from set 1. When she gets reversed, you can pay 1, clock the top card of your deck, and send her to memory to salvage a game character of any level. This is a useful card for supplementing your early aggression, since she replaces herself with a new card, and simultaneously allows you to build more memory. Another card that helps you play aggressive in the early game is the green level 0 Utaha from set 2. She has the JC effect, which activates when one of your other characters is front attacked. By paying the cost, you can return the character being attacked back to your hand. However, unlike other cards with this profile that we've seen in other sets such as Bang Dream 5th Anniversary, Utaha sends herself to memory as part of the cost, as opposed to sending herself to waiting room, allowing the deck to build even more memory. In order to use this effect for value, you will want to be frontlining Utaha and attacking with her. Her second ability gives her 1000 power each time one of your other characters attacks, letting her defeat opposing characters and remain on board to use her effect. In the late game, you can use this Utaha in the front or back row to prevent the opposing characters from crashing into yours, giving you easy reverses for your level 3 Megumi finisher. Unlike our last few level 0s, which can also get you additional card advantage, our next level 0 is more of a consistency tool. Level 0 Eriri from Saekano set 1 has an ability that activates when she gets reversed. Pay 1, discard 1, and send herself to memory to search your deck for a game character to add to hand. Use Eriri to grab crucial cards such as Climax Combos, Brainstorms, or whatever you might be missing for the current game state. Additionally, she gives 2k power to another character on play, making her a valuable buffer as well. Our next level 0 is one that wasn't as popular in the top JP builds, the Utaha Amagi from set 1. This card has a pair of powerful effects. First, when you play any Climax, you can pay 1 to top check 4 and add a game character to hand. This lets you refill your hand with new options, pay out stock, and mill through the deck, all of which are valuable. Additionally, when you play a Climax, you can bounce her back to hand to give a character 1k power cross turn. This can be a helpful boost for Megumi combo to front safely, or can be used in conjunction with cards that want to swing over big opposing threats, such as Eriri Lv2-killer or the Megumi Lv3 combo. The main reason we chose to run her in our list is to have plussing options when you want to spec harder into the Eriri Lv2-killer game plan. Since you won't have the card advantage from the Megumi Climax combo, use the Utaha instead to give you a steady supply of cards, while you use Eriri to contest the opponent's level 2 board. We've already talked about all of our level 1 characters, so let's check out the level 1 event, pulling an all-nighter to game. This powerful event from set 1 lets you search your deck for a character and put a character from waiting room into stock. However, it comes at the cost of resting 2 of your game characters, and those game characters do not stand during your next stand phase. Normally, this would be a pretty crippling downside, but this deck has a lot of tools to circumvent it. For example, you can use an Izumi runner as a rest target, then immediately send her to memory with her own effect. Additionally, you can rest Utaha Amagi, and then play a Climax and return her back to hand. Finally, using any of the pieces of the Megumi Change Chain is also a great strategy, as you can convert them into the next part of the chain, which enters the board standing. Finally, after resolving, the event sends itself to the bottom of the deck, which is supposed to be a downside, but can be seen as an upside as well, since you will have knowledge of the bottom card of your deck, and you can avoid having a Climax on the bottom as well. We already have only one card left to go, which is the level 3 Megumi early play. She can be played at level 2 if you have 2 or less Climaxes in waiting room, heals on play, and has a Shimakai buff ability when she attacks. It's not the most exciting early play, especially given her fairly low power, but extra healers are always appreciated, and the on-attack power boost can be pretty clutch sometimes as well. Let's talk game plan. For a typical game, you will want to prioritize the level 1 Megumi combo so that you can utilize her at level 1. But against decks with big level 2 threats like Standby decks or Alice SAO, you will want to prioritize Eriri Lv2-killers instead, as well as accompanying cards like Utaha Amagi that would allow you to keep up card advantage. Identify the opponent's deck as soon as possible and plan out the game accordingly. At level 0, pretty much any combination of level 0s is workable, as they are all valuable in one way or another. As mentioned earlier, the 2 Utahas are fantastic cards to play an aggressive early game, since they can either replace themselves with a new card, or return one on board back to the hand to use again. In your mulligan, you will want to discard at least one character so that you have a valid target to utilize for the red Utaha level 0. At level 1, your goal is to use Megumi combo repeatedly if possible. Since her Climax is a gold bar, it's easy to get copies into your hand. And on top of that, you also have her Twin Drive effect, which gives you more chances to trigger the gold bar. Apart from that, the Twin Drive is also useful for paying out door Climaxes or other important pieces out of your stock, or to quickly go through the deck if you're out a lot of Climaxes. Megumi combo's power level isn't that high, being just 6500 power with combo, so you'll want to help her out with other cards like the Megumi Brainstorm level 1, Utaha Amagi, and Eriri Searcher. The Brainstorm buffs her by 500, Utaha buffs by 1k, and Eriri buffs by 2k. At level 2, almost nothing gets added to the game plan, since the only additional card you can play at this point is the Megumi early play. Focus on gathering pieces for the late game while maintaining a good deck state, and compressing by sending additional cards to memory. You can use the Change Chain Megumis to fearlessly pay out any climaxes from your stock. Don't worry about it having an impact on how much stock you'll have available for the late game, since this is basically like paying for part of your level 3 Megumi's cost up front. At level 3, typically Saekano players will prioritize playing any level 3 Megumis from hand first, rather than immediately using their changers. This is because you will likely have less stock after committing into a finisher turn, and the changer can bring Megumis back for a much cheaper cost on a potential follow-up turn. Additionally, by playing Megumis from your hand first, if they get sent to waiting room during your opponent's next turn, they're ready to bring out via changing. Using the finisher combo is very straightforward since your opponent most likely cannot use backups, and most late game event counters don't give any power. Just attack, get your reverses, and burn your opponent. For level priority, you will definitely want to prioritize green over red as our most important level 1 cards are all green. Afterwards, just secure red for the brainstorm and late game pieces and you're good to go. Lastly, here are a couple alternative considerations for your deck building. If your local metagame is absolutely infested with Sword Art Online, we recommend dropping the number of copies of Utaha JC to 3 and bumping up the Utaha Salvage Riki to 4. This is because of Alice's ability to make your front row characters lose 1000 power, and the Utaha JC at just 500 base power is a prime target for that ability. Also, consider using Utaha Amagi's 1k buff on the JC or Eriri drop search to ensure they don't get sniped off the board by just a single Alice. One other consideration is the level 0 Eriri anti-salvage. She gives 1k to level 0 characters in front of her and has a mutual anti-salvage ability, in that it affects both players. If either player salvages a character during the attack phase, all characters controlled by that player lose 3 soul per character salvaged until the end of the turn. While this is generically impactful against decks that run door or choice triggers, this is mainly used as a tech card into Kanata Marine, since the Kanata combo salvages during the attack phase. If your opponent wants to get their cards back, they'll have to suffer a massive soul penalty to do so. While this Eriri anti-salvage does impact our own deck, since we run door climaxes ourselves, this is, in my opinion, a fair price to pay to cripple one of the more popular builds being played at the moment. And that wraps up our Saekano flat deck profile. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. Up next, we're going into our gameplay block, where Mike will be piloting this Saekano build against some of the current meta-relevant decks, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for upcoming content. Until then, this has been Randall aka Shizukats on the Tressa's Collectibles channel. See ya!